Psyche Truth. Life, wisdom.
Hey guys, welcome to The Joy of Gymnastics. I'm Coach Joy, and today we're going to be covering all things back bends to help you get your scorpion. We're going to be showing lots of different stretches and exercises that we haven't tried before. Let's go ahead and come into our pikes now, reaching our spines up nice and long. Here we're going to stretch our ankles and our feet out. So we can just start by pointing our toes nice and long, stretching our feet out and towards the floor, and then reaching them back up. So we want to now flex our toes towards our face, and we want to try and flex them so much that we actually create space between our heels and the floor just by lifting back. And then pointing those toes, trying to reach them down and out and back up. As you can tell probably in the camera, I tried to give myself a pedicure and I'm not very good at it. I feel like I paint my toenails like a 5-year-old and no matter how much practice I get, I just cannot stay in the lines. Are you guys good at painting your toenails, or do you have trouble like me? Because I swear the only way I can get a proper pedicure is if I go get them done. I wish I were good though. I wouldn't have to spend so much money. Alright, just keep pointing and flexing. Then you can alternate. Pointing one foot, flexing the other. Just going at your own pace here. And then back pointing forward. Go ahead and reach those arms up nice and long on your inhale. Exhale to fold forward. If you can reach for your feet, that's wonderful. If not, grab your shins or your knees, or just lightly press forward wherever you're at in your bodies. Eventually, you want to bring your chest to your knees. Taking some big breaths here. And inhale, reaching those arms back up. Next, we are going to come to a stagged pike here. So I'm going to bring my left foot into my thigh, staying off of the knee. And then same thing here, keeping my foot nice and flexed, reaching those arms up and folding forward. If you can, try and wrap your hands around your foot. And let your body sink down. Really trying to stretch that spine. We want to keep our leg as straight as we can here so that we can really work our hamstrings. If you need to, you can always put a slight bend in that knee or roll up a little blanket. And if you can, kiss your knee. Say thank you, knees, for helping me run and jump and practice my scorpions and my back bends, because we would not be able to go backwards without our knees. Nice deep breaths here. We really want to get nice and stretched out in our bodies because we are really going to be working our spine today. And then go ahead and switch those legs. Now my right foot is pressing into my left thigh, flexing that foot, reaching my arms up nice and tall and folding forward. Again, if you can clasp your hands around your feet, that's great. Or if you can even take a wrist. And kiss your knee if you can. So thank you, knee, for helping me with my back handsprings and my front walkovers. Make sure you're breathing. And sitting back up. Next, we are going to open up to a straddle, but first it's going to be a stag. So I like to come to my straddle first just so I can get the pose in mind, and then I'm going to tuck one of my legs behind me. I really want to try and keep my groin open still though, so really trying to bring that heel close to my bottom here. Then I'm going to rotate my body so that way I am now facing my right foot and fold forward, trying to bring your chest to your knees. Now this one you might start to feel it a little bit more in the groin. That's okay. We're really trying to get a good stretch right there. And always make sure you're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. It's so important, especially if we are working on our balancing poses or something that we just have to hold for a really long time and it's still a challenge for us. We always want to make sure that we keep breathing, because otherwise, if we just starve our muscles of oxygen, they're going to kaput quicker if we keep breathing. Really trying to push that back knee away. We want to hold our poses for a nice long while so that way we get all the benefits of the stretch that we can. It actually takes an average of 30 seconds for a stretch to initiate. So that means for the first 30 seconds, we're not gaining any benefits of stretching until that mark. So then say a minute, you have now stretched for 30 seconds. So we really, anytime we stretch, especially if we're working out at the gym or practicing any of our gymnastics moves, we want to make sure that we stretch those muscles out for a nice long while. Bring that balance back into our body. Since gymnastics is such a masculine sport requiring so much muscle, we want to bring that feminine movement back into ourselves. So go ahead and untuck that left foot and tuck the right, bringing it close by your bottom. Making sure that you're stretched out nice and good, sitting on your sits bones. Reaching arms up, twisting, rotating our body to our left foot and reaching forward. So as we start to get into practicing our gymnastic tricks, you'll start to hear terms like good leg versus bad leg. So that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, you're a bad leg, it's in trouble. It just means that that leg isn't as strong as my other leg or might not be as flexible. If you ever do any sort of skateboarding, it's whatever foot you use the most to push off, or say that you just jump to your lunge, whichever foot comes first to push off of, that's going to be your strong leg. And that's what you're going to want to practice most of your tricks on. I know that yoga is all about balance in the body, and we want to do the equal amount to each side, but gymnastics is really about working with what you've got and just strengthening that more and more. And please, by all means, go back and practice your tricks on your other side. I promise you probably won't have as good a success practicing your tricks on your quote-unquote bad side, but hey, if you want to keep working at it, that's awesome. And sitting back up nice and tall, let's go ahead and untuck that other leg and come to our full straddle here, and reaching those arms up, give a nice forward fold into our pancakes. And slowly but surely, walking yourself out and down. Again, we want to think about bringing our chest to the floor, not our noses, because then we just end up curling under, and that doesn't help our spines or our stretch. So really think about keeping those shoulders back and pressing towards the floor. And breathe. And inhaling to sit back up. Whew. We're going to go ahead and do that one more time. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, folding forward. You can reach for your feet if you'd like. And then go ahead and inhale to sit back up. Good job. Then we are going to stag both of our legs. So I'm going to bend my left foot in, so that way my foot is just in front of me, and then bend my right leg so that it starts, my knee starts just where my foot stops and still keeping it bent back behind me. Then I'm going to take my hand, place it behind my back, and lean into it and twist to look over that shoulder. Really peeling our shoulders open. And breathing. Keeping both knees planted on the ground. Inhaling to sit back up. Let's go ahead and rotate that. So now my right foot comes right in front of my body. Left leg comes down just where my right foot ends. And go ahead and twist, putting that hand back behind you. And breathing, feeling the shoulders open. And inhaling to sit back up. Let's go ahead and tuck our knees into our chest, give a nice hug here. And if you weren't able to reach your knees before, now you can give them a good kiss. Thank you, knees. So now we're going to move to our bellies. Let's go ahead and make sure that you're centered on your mat and come to just a Sphinx pose. Now, the key to a really great back bend is to make sure that we are lengthening our spines as much as possible and really reaching them out of our shoulders. Keeping the shoulders still back and down, I want to pull my spine away from my shoulders. So I'm pressing into the mat, keeping those shoulders rolling down my spine and just trying to reach my scalp and my neck as far out as I can. That's really going to help us meet our foot in the air. And exhale, go ahead and lower back down. And go ahead and put your hands to your side. We are going to lift up into a full locust here. Really trying to reach our hands back towards our feet, reaching our feet together and up with a slight squeeze in the glutes to protect the low back, and practice taking that spine out and back. And breathe. Keep reaching. This is not a static pose. And exhale. Slowly lower back down. We also want to make sure that in our back bends, especially when it comes to scorpion, when we are grabbing our foot, that our shoulders are really open, so that way the back bend doesn't just happen in our lower spine. We don't want it to just crunch. We really want it to curve nicely back. So let's go ahead and take the insides of our ankles, grabbing with the thumbs up, both sides. We can flex our feet and press our feet up and away from our shoulders. This is going to pull our shoulders back, really stretching them out and open. And breathe. Pressing so much that your upper body comes off the mat. Breathe. And exhale, slowly lower down. We are not slingshots. And take a moment here. Now we're going to try a really fun kind of stretch / workout that I just learned myself, so I'm excited to show it to you guys. We are going to come lying face down in a T position, so take your head to one side or the other, reaching your arms out into your T. Then we're going to take one foot, pick up that right foot, and reach it up and over to touch our foot. This I like to call scorpion stingers. This is really going to help us reach up and out for that scorpion pose. So let's go ahead and come back to center. Nice deep breath. The first one, let's just go ahead and hold for a moment. So we'll take up that right leg on over to the left. If you want, you can always practice grabbing that foot and reaching it further up if you'd like. And breathe. Always reaching that foot. Want to stretch the hip here, as well as the side of our spines. And go ahead and bring that right foot back. And now left foot comes up and over. And again, if you want to grab that foot, kind of slide it up, you can. It's kind of like working in a mirror. When you want to move up, you tend to go down. If you want to move left, you go right. It's kind of topsy-turvy feeling at first, until you really learn to control those stabilizer muscles, and things get turned upside down when you're upside down. Reaching, breathing. And then go ahead and come back to center on your inhale. And now we're just going to do 5 of those at your own pace, back and forth, alternating legs. So I'm going to go left, all right, reach it, last one, and come back down. So now go ahead and join me on your mat standing. Now that we've come to standing on our mats, go ahead and come to a good mountain pose. So we want to make sure that our feet are hips distance apart, that we're pressing with the imaginary four corners of our feet, lifting through both arches, slightly lifting in the kneecaps, pushing the pelvic down and through the hips to create a nice solid foundation here. Squeezing that core, tucking the ribs so we never want them poking out. We want to go and bring those back in nice and strong, rolling those shoulders back and down. We're going to take our weight onto our left foot, picking up our right for tree pose. So you can go ahead and grab onto that ankle and place your foot above or below your knee. And make sure that we're pressing firmly with our foot into our thigh and that our thigh is pressing firmly back into that foot to create a nice tension here. And hold. Here I just want to get used to using the four corners of my feet to stay balanced as well as the stabilizer muscles. Just kind of get my body used to being on one leg before we go all the way up into our scorpion. Because again, we don't want to slingshot out of anything. We want to come down with control just as much as we want to go up with control. And hold and breathe. Breathing is important. When we're trying to hold poses like this though, we really want to keep that belly tight, so we're actually breathing more into our chest than we are our full belly. And on your next exhale, go ahead and slowly lower back down. Regaining our position here into our nice mountain, tucking that pelvis, squeezing the glutes. Ribs, shoulders rolled back and down. And go ahead and lift that left foot. Again, if you need to take the ankle to place it, go right ahead and just let that left hip drop down and pressing equally with the foot as well as the thigh. Finding our drishti, that is so important, something that's just right at the end of our nose, and it's something that's not moving. Our reflection is not good because we're breathing, we're kind of wiggling to stay balanced. We want to find a point, whether it's a spot on the wall or a picture or a crack in the floor, whatever you can get that isn't moving to help you focus and stabilize. And breathing. And then on our next exhale, go ahead and slowly lower back down. Next, I'm going to turn to the side for some seesaws. So it's a little self-explanatory. We want to make our entire body tilt back and forth like a seesaw. This is really important because we want to practice distributing our weight to different areas while staying balanced on that one foot. So let's go ahead and step back with that right foot, reaching those arms up nice and long right by the ears. We don't want them down in front of us. We want to stay in a nice straight line the whole way, squeezing with the whole body. And go ahead and as I lift my back leg, I'm going to reach down with my chest and arms, staying the whole way through nice and straight. When I get to the bottom, I can really press that leg up, up, up for a stretch. And then reaching back up into our lunge, staying nice and straight the whole time. Let's go ahead and do that 2 more times. Now, the slower we go, the more control our bodies will learn. And that's so key to not just fall out of our poses. And inhale. And exhale. Staying level the whole way. And back up. And one more time. Coming forward. Back leg up as our top half lowers down. And back up with control. Great job. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing other side. Coming to my strong mountain pose here. Taking my left foot back behind me, reaching those arms up, and slowly lowering down. Again, the faster we go here, momentum really helps. But we don't want to rely on momentum to get to the floor. We want to rely on the control of our muscles and really instill that muscle memory. Back up 2 more times. Back foot comes off the floor and slowly lowering down and back up. Adjusting if need be. The coming back up is harder than the coming down. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Really pressing that back leg up, up, up. And reaching back up to our lunge. Now for the final pose. Scorpion time. All right, so we want to make sure we're breathing. We're lengthening through our spines, not our shoulders. And we want to stay balanced and move with control. So let's go ahead and come to our mountain. If you need to wiggle out your legs, go for it. All right. In our big, tall, strong mountains, I am going to take my right foot back. So now when I reach for my foot this time, I want to make it easy for my elbow to come from facing the floor to up facing the ceiling. So when I go ahead and grab my foot, I want to grab the outside with my thumb and fingers. And so that way, as I pull up, I can now reach my foot up and over my head. And really trying to slow down that release. Great job. If you were able to make it to your head, awesome. If you were only able to get it up so far behind you, that's okay. Practice every day. You'll be amazed at how much further you get every time. So now I'm going to practice this on my quote-unquote bad leg. Again, it doesn't mean that my leg has been naughty. It just means that it's less dominant than my right leg and therefore not as strong, not as flexible. So this side, I'm still really working to get into my full scorpion. And if I stumble a little bit, bear with me. We all have our progress to make in our bodies. So again, reaching for my foot, trying to keep my dristy. Can grab my wrist here. And again, the whole time I'm breathing, breathing, breathing. But as you can see, I'm still struggling a little bit with that. I'm gonna keep working on it, but my focus when I'm actually going around and doing my tricks or competing, it's gonna be with my good leg. We wanna put our best foot forward, so to speak. Thank you guys so much for joining me in your practice. I truly hope this helps you with your scorpion. Please be sure to favorite this video so you can come back to it anytime and keep on working at it if you're not quite there yet. Also, subscribe to the channel. I've got so many gymnastics, flexibility workouts coming your way. And thank you so much and have a great day.